Hello, my friends. Today I have for you a mini flow for self-compassion. So this is intended as a time of self-care through movement, and maybe a little bit through, the internal focus and circulation of compassion within. Sometimes we might really seek outside of ourselves for compassion and comfort. And it's certainly beautiful to find that in our relationships and places in the world that uplift us, elements of our lives that uplift us and have that feeling of compassion. However, the person that you're always with is you. So whether today it's an energy of just, needing to be a little softer on yourself, needing to love yourself, appreciate yourself, whether it's forgive yourself, don't put so much pressure on yourself, whatever it might be today, maybe that's something that you can just kind of allow to weave through this short practice and, ultimately step off of the mat feeling a little more of that friendship with yourself, remembering it's important that you have that thread of caring for your being. You're the one stepping through the world as you every single day, and it's so important. So let's get into it. We'll start seated. If you want to elevate your hips a little bit, feel free. I have my couple blocks here in a blanket. Let's rub the hands together a little bit. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, just cross your hands over your heart center and lightly close your eyes if that feels good today. A soft gaze is also great. And just take a nice deep breath in. And exhale it out. Deep breath in. And exhale it out. And take a few more breaths here and really kind of letting your attention hone in on the heart center here. And just feeling that movement of emotion and compassion that exists in the heart. And can you feel a sense of that really kind of glowing within? So you get to feel some of the energy of your own heart space. We'll take one more breath in here. Exhale to gently release your hands down and flutter open your eyes. And then we'll come onto our hands and knees. Maybe you want to set your blocks at the edges of the mat in case they come in handy in just a bit. But coming into that tabletop pose, perhaps walking your hands out a couple of times to stretch out the wrists and the hands. And then planting them back down. Let's take cow and cat. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your tailbone. And exhale, round through your spine. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. And again, cow pose. And cat. And then come back into the neutral spine here. Unfurl this right arm up towards the ceiling and then reach it underneath. Just reaching and hovering. We're not going to lay it down for this practice. Inhale, take it up again. And then reach. And then up. And then reach. And we'll come back up. Inhale. We'll exhale to table. We'll take a round of cow and cat. Lift your chest. Round your spine. Neutral spine here. Inhale. Exhale, secure to your table. And then unfurl this left arm up and thread it under. And you can kind of notice how you're sort of fluffing through your own heart energy through this movement. We're going to do it 2 more times. And then we'll inhale, come on back up. Exhale to table. Take one more round, cow and cat. Lift your chest, round your spine. And then come into your neutral spine here. Curl your toes under. You're going to start to walk your hands back towards your knees. Now, if it feels good, we're going to roll that onto the soles of the feet. Spread your knees out wide. Kick your heels together. I always think of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz with this. Kicking the heels together. And then you can walk your hands forward for garland pose. If this doesn't feel right for you, try taking the whole thing up so you're flat on your feet and you can still walk the hands forward. And maybe even soften your eyes here or close your eyes. Feeling your connection with the earth, but also this nice lengthening through your spine. And just a little softness around the heart space and just that sort of awareness that we don't have to hold it all or take care of everything at once. Each of us so powerful in the being that we each are, but also we are one person. We are each one person, right? So we do what we can at the pace that we can. Walk your hands back towards the feet. Go ahead, lift the hips up. Step your feet out a little wider than hips width. Bend your knees generously. Take a ragdoll here. Maybe take opposite hand to opposite elbow and sway a little bit. Maybe shake your head out, yes, a couple times. Shake your head out, no, a couple times. And then drop your hands down. Bend through your knees. And just gradually walk your hands up the legs. And we'll take a nice walk to the top of the mat. Inhale to reach your arms up. Palms will face forward. You'll bend through the elbows, opening the chest up in that goalpost shape. Inhale back up to vertical. And then exhale to fold forward, bending your knees there any amount. And take a halfway lift, breathing in. Okay, you can use your blocks if you want them. Step your left leg back for a low lunge. Then we're going to drop the left knee right down to the mat. Point the left toes. You can always cushion that back knee if you like. Bring your hands up to the right thigh. I brought this pose into play today because sometimes when we've maybe been a little tough on ourselves, we tend to kind of hunch in. So these nice long lines to stretch out the front of the body, like this front hip and thigh, can be really nice. Just to reverse that energy a little bit. We'll take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down, curl the left toes under. We'll step this left foot forward next to the right, halfway lift. We'll fold forward. Inhale, reach up. Palms will face forward. Goalpost through the arms. Open the chest up. Inhale, back up to vertical. And forward fold. Halfway lift now, breathing in. And right leg will step back. Knee will come down. Cushion it if you like. Hands right up to that left thigh. I'm just spending a few breaths here. Kind of a yin energy to this. So giving it some breath, as that may involve quite a bit of sensation. Hey, Bachi. Yeah. One more breath in. And as you exhale, go ahead, take your hands down, curl the right toes under, and we'll step this right foot forward next to the left, halfway lift. Forward fold. And we'll inhale, reach the arms all the way up. And exhale, arms to your sides. Inhale, now reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Take your halfway lift. Now we're going to step back to a downward dog. And we're going to do something a little bit different from dog, just a fun way to sort of utilize the pose in a different way than typical. So I'm going to have you bend your knees quite a bit, lift your hips up, push the mat down and away, but then
let your heart kind of melt towards your thighs. So often here I'm inviting you to maybe align the biceps by the ears. But for right now, I want you to feel a little element of back bend is what's actually happening here as you melt that heart toward the thighs. One more breath in. And then exhale, come on down.
We'll come into child's. If it feels good to have your knees a little bit close together, maybe like out by the ribs or even closer, you can do that.
Forehead down and maybe curl your arms around by your sides. But certainly you can choose to take the knees wide and arms forward if you like. I'm just enjoying a little bit of cocooning for yourself for a few moments. Great.
All right, my friends, we're going to lay on our backs, take a little bit of a twisting wind down, and then rest in Shavasana so we can keep this session short and sweet. So go ahead, lay down. Spread your arms out into a T or a soft T. Take your feet to the edges of the mat and just windshield wiper your legs side to side. Maybe take your gaze in the opposite direction from the legs. Good. And then come on back into center. Plant your feet down. One more little thing I'd like to do. Hands by your sides. Lift your hips just a bit. So it's not a bridge pose. It's barely even a slant pose. Press down through your feet. Just feeling that nice aligning of the body into a symmetrical shape. And then lower back down. Last but not least, maybe hug your knees in. And take just a couple rocks side to side. And Shavasana. Lay yourself down, prop as you like, of course, and maybe shrug your shoulder blades together underneath you just a smidge can sometimes make a big difference. Soften your jaw. Notice what it's like to just really allow yourself to be held, because the earth that you live on does not expect you to be perfect. We all know in the heart of truth that there is no one person, no one element of this life that is perfect. It is in the wide variation in all of us and all the fluctuation that the real beauty of life comes in. So just let yourself rest. allow your hands to softly come back to the body, maybe back to your heart center, or just resting somewhere easy, like on the belly or the hips, where your elbows can just still be softened down. I'm just sending in whatever message to yourself that comes up of love and compassion. And then when you're ready, starting to maybe bring in a little bit of movement. Deepening your breath. Rolling over onto your right side if that's comfortable. And then we'll meet up in seated. And thank you so much for taking this time with me today. Please bring your hands to heart center. And together, let's take a breath in. Release it out. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Peace, 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 my friends. Thank you so much.